I've just recently started following a photographer called Greg Williams, and if you haven't seen his work, he takes a lot of portraits of very famous celebrities. He's always at places like the Cannes Film Festival, so he's really shooting A-list people. I just wanted to touch on what he says at the beginning of his book, and I can't remember it word for word. But the gist of it is, he often now walks into a room and imagines the room has been lit just for him. And he thinks about, what am I going to do to make the most of this scene that's set up for me? And we all go out with a picture in our heads of what we want to take, but we actually often end up taking something completely different. And that's the magic of photography. As soon as you can get over that and start concentrating on the scene that's in front of you and watching what's unfolding and capturing that moment, then you'll get more out of your photography. It does simplify the process enormously. Welcome back to Nifty 50 Photographers. Now in today's video, I wanted to talk about simplifying your photography. Sometimes it gets really a challenge when you go out and think, oh, what lens should I take? What settings am I going to use? All these things. And any of you have watched my recent video about my visit to the Appleby Horse Fair where I forgot my camera battery. I found that really quite a liberating experience, that I didn't have to think about anything. I was just using my phone because that's all I had with me at the time that had a camera on it. So that's what we're going to do today. I've just brought my Sony, the A7R5, and I just bought one lens. I'm actually going to set it into auto mode. I'm down to Preston Marina this morning, and this is the scene. You can see it's actually quite a grey, dull day, but the light is nice and soft. There's the marina right up ahead there. There's a bit of a walkway in front of it. I don't know quite what's going to unfold in front of me today. There are a few people walking up and down. I'm going to have a walk around, do some street style photography. So I've set my camera in full auto mode, and to be honest, I'm very nervous about letting the camera make all the decisions, but sometimes it's going to be better for your photography because you can concentrate on the composition, you can concentrate on the lighting, and looking for interesting scenes without worrying about, oh, what aperture am I going to choose? What shutter speed am I going to choose? So is manual mode overrated? Well, let's find out in this video. Well, the first thing I spotted is this old lighthouse here, with a bus stop in front of it. I really quite like the guys doing the bus stop as well, with the frame within a frame. So that's the first shot I'm going to take. I'm going to use the weeds in the foreground. I've limited myself to just one lens, 55mm prime, so pretty much seeing what the eye can see. And I'll take this shot and have a little walk further on. So today is about teaching yourself to look, not just see. So look for shapes all around you. And I've got up to the marina now. And you can see there's railings, there's these metal structures. There is some old navigation buoys over here. It's raining a little bit as well now. But I'm thinking of all the things I could use for composition. A lot of leading lines here. A lot of interesting shapes I could use to create frames within a frame. But that's what you have to teach yourself. Find things to photograph. What can I take advantage of that will make an interesting shot? I'm going to explore some of these, see what I can get. So there you have it. That's shooting in fully auto mode, letting the camera make the decisions for you. Do I think manual's overrated? No. When I've reviewed the photos looking back, there are times when I think I wish I had a bit more control. I could have done something a little bit more creative with the composition, introduced some movement and things like that. But the one thing I would say is, as I normally shoot in manual, I perhaps would shoot more in automatic, especially if there's a scene opening up in front of me and I don't have much time to prepare or get into the place, and it's better to get the shot than to miss it, especially if you're doing things like street photography and things can happen very quickly in front of you. Then sometimes I think it's well worthwhile just starting off in that fully programmable mode and making sure you get those shots. Maybe when you've warmed up a bit and you've got into the zone, you can do it without thinking. And I think that's the other thing, is how far advanced you are along in your photography. If you're like myself, you're pretty familiar with your camera, very familiar with the settings, do a lot of these things without even thinking about it. And you set your apertures and things, and you get them just the way you want because you've got that picture in your head of what the image is going to be. Now, if you're not that advanced, don't be scared of using your automatic mode. I think it's perfectly acceptable. The important point is, have you got a great photo? And a lot of that will come from with you seeing the scene or building a relationship, if it's a portrait, with the person you're photographing. Probably my favourite shot of the day was of the guy vaping outside on his coffee break, because I had a chance just to have a little bit of engagement with him, ask him if he minded having his photo taken, and he was quite happy with that, but he was quite surprised I'd want to take his picture. But for me, it was my shot of the day. Still took it in fully P mode, and it's turned out great, so I'm happy. So don't be scared of it, embrace it. But the main thing is, make sure you can enjoy your photography. Don't get hung up on getting the settings right and getting everything just perfect. It's about the image you're creating, and whether that's going to be a beautiful or interesting or stimulate your viewers. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you next time.